I literally thought everything was going to be over by the time I turned 30. That it's similar to being an athlete where you can work X amount of years, but the older you get, the more experienced you get, the more your value decreases in a sense. Now, 8 months pregnant, and still working and doing things, I'm like, somehow the universe still continues to make my dreams come true. So I don't know. I'm Emily DiDonato, and today I'm going to tell you about my dreams. I felt like growing up, all that I knew was that I wanted a life that was bigger than the one that I was born into, if that makes sense. I felt like I had a humble beginning. I'm from upstate New York. My dad was a New York City firefighter. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. When I first got introduced into the modeling industry, I just felt like it was my dream, but also my destiny to enter into this big, full, rich world of fashion and beauty, if that makes sense.
So can you take us back to your first shoot?
Technically, my first modeling photo shoot was for an editorial for Glamour magazine. And I was in my senior year of high school. I got a call from my agent that I had just signed with to come to the city for a fitting to do this editorial with Glamour magazine. But the kicker of it was that even though I kind of resisted doing this because as a teenager, I was kind of like, I want to stay with my friends and hang out. And I was entering into this like adult world and decisions already. That was the shoot how Maybelline discovered me. So that editorial came out and Maybelline saw that editorial and then asked me to come into their offices. So like it felt like my dreams were like unfolding in front of me. It was like destiny in a way.
Feels like it just happened overnight.
I would say like after my first couple of castings, because I went to a few castings after I signed with an agency and I booked that Glamour shoot. I booked a campaign for Ralph Lauren. And I went from just being a normal kid in high school. Like I was so confused by this because I was like, I guess I'm a model now because I go to photo shoots and I work as a model. It just like didn't make any sense. It happened so quickly.
Was it ever as glamorous as it was on the outside?
Oh my God. I felt like looking back now, I had so many shoots and days where I was running on so little sleep and taking red eyes into from one job to the next job, taking a red eye into a job and taking a red eye home. And I just remember thinking, this is so hard. And it was so hard on my mental health and needing like days to recover of just being in bed and trying to like catch up on sleep, which we all know you like can't actually do. So yeah, it was a lot of trying to play catch up on sleep and a lot of trying to sleep on planes, trains, and automobiles for sure. I would definitely get nervous before certain things, like especially things like a really big TV commercial, like before doing something for Maybelline, or I did a couple of like really big TV commercials for perfume or something like that. I would feel nervous, but I never felt like it wasn't something I wasn't able to do, more just being like the unknown of like what was going to be asked of me maybe. But I feel like going into a shoot or anything big the next day, I just try not to do anything fancy the night before. Like stick to the basics, like don't go get a facial, don't go do something fancy or have a different like sleep. I don't know. Like you just keep it simple and keep it the way you know it's going to like work. So your next day will be calm and clear.
Emily, when you look back to that version of you, 17 years old, thrown into all of this, what do you see?
When I look back now at being a model and becoming a model and being so young and being 17, and now that I'm a mom and I think back to my younger self and being like thrown into these situations, but I just remember having so many pinch me moments. I had this dream to like keep going and keep building and keep, creating this modeling career. And sometimes I still look back and I can't believe I was doing that. Like I was so young and so like naive. So I felt like I grew up so quickly in this industry as a model, but it has only like given me this platform to not just be Emily the model, but to be just Emily in a way.
So at some point, you went from being in front of other people's cameras to building something of your own. How did that shift happen?
As a model, how it works is like you basically show up, you're someone else's chameleon, and you show up and you make someone else's dream come true. So for so many years, I felt like I was kind of like this placeholder to help someone else's vision or dream come to life. And then being an entrepreneur and being able to kind of go after projects or pursue things or go after dreams per se, however you want to say it, it just makes it more exciting to be able to like make the choice and go after what you want to do and what you want to accomplish, what you want to create and see in the world versus being a part of somebody else's vision, I guess. Generally, is that like brands don't just say, hey, we pick you, I pick them as well, because it's something that I genuinely love, use, appreciate, need in my life, and something that I actually want to share with the people who I know and love and the people who follow me. It's more of like a two-way street, which I really appreciate. And I feel like that collaboration allows everyone to create like something even bigger and better. There were definitely moments as I ventured more into like entrepreneurship, creating content, partnering with brands. There's so much more self-doubt. It is much easier to be told what to do, how to be, what to look like, how to perform for somebody else. I feel like I would much rather mirror what someone else wants versus saying, this is how I see it and this is how I think it should come to life or how I picture it or envision it. I kind of struggled for a long time with like a self-doubt of like, is this right? Do I really know? A lot of imposter syndrome moving into this next phase of life and even the next phase of motherhood in that chapter of my life because there's so much self-doubt and you're like, I don't know, but I kind of know because I have like a mother's instinct. There's just a lot more self-doubt and like imposter syndrome when it comes to this next chapter of my career, but it also makes it more exciting.
Did you actually ever think it could all stop?
I literally thought everything was going to be over by the time I turned 30. It's similar to being an athlete where you can work X amount of years, but the older you get, the more experienced you get, the more your value decreases in a sense. So I remember feeling panicked and I don't know what I'm going to do after that. There'll be nothing left for me, but at the same time, I want to pursue what's this huge thing in front of me. So now when I'm still doing stuff, at like 8 months pregnant and still working and doing things, I'm like, somehow the universe still continues to make my dreams come true. So I don't know.
Emily, can you tell me what the dream looks like now?
What excites me the most for the future is just to continue to work with brands who I have the same vision with, to build something with, to create products or things that I genuinely love and want to share with the world. And I think my real dream, which this is a less exciting dream, I feel like every mom is trying to find the balance to like find your version of doing it all, like continuing to work, continuing to build my family, being there for my family, for my husband, but still working and pursuing projects. Like, how can I stay sane, get a good night's sleep, like do all of these things and still be there for the people I love?
So you've mentioned sleep a couple times. Is
Yeah.
that something you've always been conscious of?
Me and my husband are like science geek nerd, like sleep people, and he loves to tell me about his amazing sleep right now, which is so annoying because as a pregnant person, it's really hard to get a good night's sleep, even if your other children sleep perfectly through the night. But for me, things that 8 sleep does, like getting the temperature right, but it's other things too, like not drinking alcohol, not eating dinner late at night, not doing anything too overstimulating close to bedtime, and finding for me, like sleeping the same amount roughly every night and going to bed around the same time and waking up around the same time was huge for me because when I was traveling a lot as a model, I would try to catch up on sleep and sleep for like tens of 12s of hours, which I am capable of doing. And then I'd wake up feeling more tired. It is possible to sleep too much, unfortunately. So just stuff like that. The worst and best part about it is that like you fall in love with 8 sleep, but then you're like, I cannot. It's hard to sleep in hotel rooms. You're like, my husband and I, like, we're such divas. We're like on this super nice vacation, but we can't get a good night's sleep because we don't have our 8 sleep with us. But yeah, I find that it just helps so much with like the temperature regulation is just the biggest thing. And I don't think you realize like how much of a difference that makes. It's the best thing ever. It helps so much with your sleep. Like it will save your marriage. Like because if you have a hot sleeper or a cold sleeper, and like I said, the alarm system being able to have the vibration alarm function, one person can sleep, the other person can wake up at the crack of dawn if they'd like. You just get the best sleep because of it.
And becoming a mom on top of all of that, did anyone prepare you for what it actually does to your body?
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve once you become a mom. And I feel like we don't tell moms enough that to give yourself grace, because there is that period where, like, yes, all of a sudden you feel like you have more purpose than ever, which is to be there and protect this like tiny person that you brought into the world. But so many other parts of you or things that you thought were important fall away. And then you're left with this sort of blank slate in a way of like, what do I pursue from here? Who am I from here? And it can feel really scary, I felt like, and disorientating, because I just remember feeling like I don't know anything anymore. I don't know who I am or what I want to do or what is even worth being away from my children for. There's just this period where you will feel confused, but you just have to continue. Like, time kind of helps you learn what you will want to pursue next.
What has motherhood taught you?
Nothing that you think or feel or that's happening to you physically is unique. And I mean that in the kindest way possible. I think with my first pregnancy and with my first postpartum, like, I was like, this is just the most bizarre thing ever, or I'm a horrible person because I thought XYZ, or I had this intrusive thought, or this thing happened to me. Like, a good mom would know how to do this. Like, no, every mom, once you start talking to other moms in your network or find mom friends, it like, there is no hood like motherhood, I always say. Like, you just enter this group of people, and yeah, I just felt like I always felt almost like a bad mom or a weird mom or a mom who wasn't getting it right. And it's like, we all feel that way. Like, you're just, the point is, you are not alone. Motherhood has taught me you really do know what's best for yourself and your children. Sometimes it's hard because it's something that you care about so much. And sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel crazy because I'm so laser focused on this like one thing or getting this one thing right or whatever it might be, but it's because you care about your kids. My daughter, I see her, she's very sensitive, as am I. And sometimes I'm like, oh, it's a blessing and a curse, because she feels so deeply. And I can see that she's very aware of, like, and who knows, maybe it's just being a woman and being a girl. I feel like we have that superpower. But sometimes I see her sensitivity and I'm like, and her awareness of what's going on around her. And I feel I have that as well. And my son, with him, I see a little bit of my creativity within him. He is very strange and comes up with the most insane stories sometimes, and he's not even 3 yet. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? He's a little weird, but he is creative and just like me.
And for your kids, what do you dream for them?
My dream for my children is just that they are good, considerate, kind, aware people. And just so that they can go into the world and do good things, create good things, and be kind to people. Like, that's all I like actually want for them.
Emily, thank you so much for this conversation. It's been so lovely to hear your journey, your story, and your dreams. Before I let you go, we asked you to bring one object that represents your dreams. What did you choose?
So I chose this as my memento. This book is like a symbol of the first almost 15 years of my career as a model. This was a book that Maybelline put together. I was one of their global spokesmodels for 13, 14 years. And in this book, there are just a bunch of different, not a bunch, I think every single campaign that I like ever did for the brand and all of the different people that I worked with along the way. And I just love this book because it kind of just signifies like the first chapter of my working life and working career, and where all of my dreams really started to come true. And I feel like this book just symbolizes that. And things continue to evolve and change and come true, but this was just such a beautiful representation of, you know, all of the big things and places I went and people I worked with and dreams that came true when I was like just a baby. And now I get to appreciate it as a grown-up. It's just so fun to look back at it, and I will treasure it forever because, you know, some of the stuff you forget, but I won't. Yeah.